Hey everyone, Tech Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're a Sony OLED fan, then you're definitely going to like what I have to show you today. This is the new Bravia 8. Now this is second generation, but what is the main thing that changed over this TV over the last generation?
Is this really the successor to the A95L? Well, the answer, yes.
Last year, I did review the W8 OLED, which is a great television, but this one has a new panel in it, and it's called QD-OLED. What is that exactly? QD-OLED is short for quantum dot organic light emitting diodes. And to be honest, there's so much technology behind QD-OLED that I can make a full video on it. But for now, here's a quick diagram so you can see how the technology actually works. And as a reference, the Bravia 8 was available from a 55 to a 77 inch, and they all was WOLED. And I also want to say that the A95L won the 2024 TV shootout from last year, and it's available from a 55 inch to a 77 inch. And the Bravia 8 uses QD-OLED just like the A95L, but it's only available in a 55 and a 65 inch. And Sony has decided to keep the 77 inch A95 and L in play for this year. So I went ahead and got the TV out of the box and got everything mounted. And there's a few things I want to show you about this TV whenever you unbox it. One thing I want to show you that it comes with these metal feet, and you can raise the TV up where I have it now, or if you unhook it and put it on this next notch, then you can lower the TV if you're not planning on putting a sound bar below it. Another thing about this TV, it does have attached power cord, and there's a cover for this. I'll show it to you in just a minute. And it's easy wall mountable. All you gotta do is take out these pre-threaded screws, and then you can add your own mounting bracket onto this television. Now, as far as audio, it has a speaker here and here on each side, and this appears to be a bass port, but I'll check that out when I get to the full review. And if you plan on adding a Sony camera, there's a little box right here. You just take off the cover, and then you can mount the Sony camera to it if you plan on adding that to the television. And here's a remote control that comes with it, and it has these flakes in it, and it's because that this remote is made out of recycled material. But you have your power button, TV button, source button, menu, navigation, as well as your volume, channels, and there's some hotkeys at the bottom. Now, as far as connections, we have two USBs. One of them is 3.0. There's a switch here so you can turn off the mic if you're not going to use the hands-free Google. There's an optical output, but you can double up and use this TV as a center channel with certain Sony soundbars. There's two HDMI 2.0s, two HDMI 2.1s, but keep in mind one of these HDMI 2.1s is used for eARC. So if you have a PlayStation, Xbox, you would have to use one of these ports unless you get a Sony soundbar that will support the 120 Hertz pass-through. There's an Ethernet connection, RS-232, and a IR blaster input, plus it has the ATSC 3.0 TV tuner. And here's all the covers that comes with this television so you can cover up all the ports on the back of it. So this one will cover up the screw holes for the feet. If you want to cover up this part, all you need to do is press and hold that, and this little zip tie comes off, and then you just put it in like this. Nice and stealthy. After you install all your cables on the television, there's a little clip here at the bottom, and then you can just take this piece, stick it in like that, and it's going to be nice and clean. And now it's time to do the screen pull. Now here's the thing about Sony. They normally don't have screen pulls on their television, but cool thing is this one does have one. Satisfying. Once this TV's set up, one thing I can say is that it has a fantastic picture quality and it's extremely brighter than I expected. And I will tell you on this video, I'm not going to do the full review. I'm still working on that, but I just want to show you a couple of highlights that stands out to me, show you some gaming and how to set it up as a new user. One of the great features about QD-OLED is that it has great viewing angles, so you can see it anywhere in your room, you can hang it anywhere you want, and you're going to get a great picture. This TV also has a anti-glare coating on it, but the interesting thing, using a flashlight, you can see this circle, but I turned the flashlight off, and if you can notice, you can see me in the background, but barely. So it's going to be a great TV for lights in the room. Now I mentioned that picture quality earlier, so I'll show you a quick sample of it. If you look at these demos, this TV is absolutely stunning. Not only that you're going to get this bright picture, but you're going to get all the details that you need in a television. The shadow details are great. The colors are vivid and rich, and I think this is going to be a great TV for sports as well as movies, because not only that this TV has a great picture, but it has smooth motion as well. And this is something that Sony's been known for years, their processing. Now I did test this TV out when it comes to input lag, and I want to try out the 60 Hertz port first. And one thing I noticed is that I got around 32.8 milliseconds using a 1080p input lag tester. Next, I want to try out the input lag on the 120 Hz port. Again, this is only a 60 Hz tester, but I was able to get about 34 milliseconds of input lag. Now, I also want to check out the variable refresh rate off and on and some of the other settings, and that's the maximum I could get. Unfortunately, that's the results I can get with the tester I have, and maybe in the future I'll get a 4K 120 Hz tester if I can find the right one that's at a reasonable price. With that being said, let me show you the settings in the PS5 so you can see what this TV is capable of handling when it comes to gaming. If you press and hold down the menu button on remote control, you get this game bar. Inside of here, you can change the picture mode to different settings. You can turn the variable refresh rate off and on. You also have a motion reduction, a black EQ, and you can change the screen size. So as you can see there, you can make it custom or you can fill it in. Under custom settings, you can adjust it to the size that you need, and this is a great option for some people on certain games. There's also a crosshair that you can have there in the center, and you also have different crosshair types. As you can see here, right by the PlayStation logo, that you can change it to different styles, and you can go back here and turn it off. There's also a YouTube quick search, and this allows you to search for games, play different content while you're doing your gaming at the exact same time. Here's the PlayStation, and we're going to check out some of the settings that are available for this TV. Under screen and video, this is where we can find all the settings. So first thing we're going to do is go into the information for connecting to HDMI, and under 4K, it does support variable refresh rate, HDR, and up to 120 Hz gaming in HDR or non-HDR. And it does have the same settings for 1080p. And I do want to point out, it doesn't support 1440p output on the PS5. And when it comes to sound, let's check out and see if it supports the 3D audio. And as you can see here, it will support the stereo sound and the 3D audio. Once you measure your room, it would automatically set everything up for the PS5. Now we switched over to the Xbox. Let's check out some of the TV and display options on this gaming console. Just like the PS5, it will support 4K at 120 Hz. There's no option for 1440p, but we'll try to override that in just a second. I will tell you that all these settings will all do 120 Hz. Under the 4K TV details, you can see that it will support everything, and this includes up to 120 Hz with Dolby Vision gaming, which is a cool feature to have if you want to get the best resolution. Under video modes, again, everything is checked off here, and that's including the auto low latency and the variable refresh rate.
Don't know it yet.
I'll be waiting for you guys at the garage.
I thought this was supposed to be a friendly race.
This is us being friendly.
Last one washes Rap's cars. This is serious business.
I haven't seen Max this excited since the...
That was a sick jump.
Bel-Air, honey, let's make you fly.
The first thing we'll do is choose your language, and you can see here there's quite a bit of languages inside of the television to choose from. Once you choose that, you want to then choose your region. There's two different ways you can set this up. If you set up as Google TV, it will require a Google account as well as Wi-Fi or Ethernet plugged in. If you choose the basic, then you can use the TV tuner built in, and you can use external devices on it. But keep in mind, without Wi-Fi on this TV, you will not be able to get updates. But we'll set up as Google TV. If you have the Google Home application, you can scan your barcode here, or you can press down and use the TV setup instead. Once you enter your Wi-Fi, there is some Bravia terms and conditions if you want to use a Sony TV. Unfortunately, that's not something you can bypass. For the next step, we're going to set up the Google, so you need to go and enter your Gmail account. If you don't have one, you can create an account here or use your own phone or computer to make one. Once you enter that, you want to go and accept the Google terms and conditions, but make sure you read through everything. This will give you a list of the Google services like location, help Google improve. You can turn some of these things off. It's up to you completely. Once you figure out your configuration, go and press on accept. If you want to be able to search across all the applications installed with the voice command, you can hit allow or no thanks. And this will customize the voice commands for your voice, and everyone can make their own under their own profile. Now, if you do have a Google Home device, you can set it up here. Make sure you choose the room that you're going to be using so your Google Voice devices can understand where it's at. And for this part, if you have any of these applications that you want to install, go and check them off, and then go ahead and hit confirm. And you'll get this cool Sony splash that welcomes you to your new television. Now, Sony has their own experience and they want to customize it as well. So you want to press on start to get it going. Now, you can register it using your Google account, but we'll skip it for demo purposes. And again, you can register it later if you like. And there's a switch on the back that I showed you earlier that you can turn off if you don't want to use hands-free Google Voice command. Now, when it comes to power saving mode, I usually leave this off. But if you want the TV to adjust itself, you can go ahead and leave this on. It'll lower the TV's brightness according to the light in your room. If you do have any devices plugged into the HDMI or you have a TV antenna plugged in, you want to go and set that up. And all you would do is just press on next, hit setup, and go through the steps. Now, keep in mind, this remote control is not programmable. It uses HDMI CEC to control devices, just so you know before you go through that process. Now, it did find a PS5 that I plugged in it earlier, and you can see there it says auto, and you can see there that it says auto config. I'll go ahead and press on next. And for the audio, you can choose if you have it on a tabletop or if you wall mount it, and that'll kind of control the EQ. Next, you'll use the remote control to set up the calibration, and then hit start. This will tune the speakers in to where your sweet spot is in your room by using that test. And once it's completed, you can go to your next step. If you do have Apple devices and you want to control the TV with the Apple AirPlay HomeKit, you can set it up here. And this TV has Samba interface, so it'll basically customize your viewing experience, but that's something that you can leave on or turn off, but you need to download the application to give it access. Now, this is for accessibility features, and this allows you to make the text larger, turn the TV on, and configure a screen reader if you need it. Sony also has an application called Bravia Connect, and this allows you to control the TV directly from your smart device using the app, but it will ask you if you want to set up your Google Cloud for screensaver, add multiple people, or enable the kid feature. Once all that is set, you can press on go to Google TV, and here's the interface. Now, we're not going to go too far in here, but I will say that this TV is pretty snappy. It's got the XR processor. You do have features like live TV that uses Google TV Free Play to stream different channels, and your channels on the TV will appear there if you hook up an antenna. Of course, you have the Google App Store. There's tons of applications in here. And again, just going over some of the basic features here. You do have channel inputs, and this is where you would scan for channels. You can manage your inputs, give them all their name. If you have Sony products that can sync to the TV, you have Bravia Sync. As far as the inputs, I do recommend you change them from standard to enhanced, because if you don't do this and you hook up 4K devices, it will not detect them. And most products out there on the market is 4K. Now, input 3, we do have standard, enhanced, and then advanced, and this will enable the variable refresh rate. And since it did detect the PlayStation on input 4, you can see that it automatically triggered it. But keep in mind, if you don't trigger this, then you will not get the VRR in most cases. And here's a quick look at the picture, your audio, ambient modes. These are just settings in the TV to control the viewing experience. And as far as the operating system, it uses Android 12, and it has 17 gigabytes of internal storage. Now, another thing I would recommend is that, again, if you haven't checked these features, make sure you have this auto power saving mode. You can also use it to cast devices. If you get the camera, you can do hand gestures, you can change your region. You have your microphone sensitivity, Apple AirPlay. So that's pretty much all the little adjustments inside of the TV. Plus, you can hook up Bluetooth headphones or speakers to the television as well. Just a couple of things so you know, the last year model did use the LG panels. This year is using the Samsung OLED panel, and I can say that it looks fantastic. Now, Samsung makes great televisions, but the great thing about Sony is that they have all these technologies right here to make sure that you get the Sony experience with this panel. With that being said, I think it's a great looking TV. So far, I'm liking the motion on it. I love the colors on it. And I think it's going to be a great TV if you're in the higher end tiers of buying a television. With that being said, the next video will be a calibration video, so make sure you stick around for that. And as always, thanks all for watching. I'm Tech Steve, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.